We've reached agreement on all of the bills related to the government shutdown, and we have signed an agreement, the five of us, the four legislative leaders and myself, that define the terms of the special session, and as a result I've signed a proclamation that it will begin at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I want to thank the legislative leaders. We've worked very, very hard, literally around the clock for the last We've worked very hard together. We've worked literally around the clock for the last 4 days and nights, and once we reached the framework of the general agreement, we all agreed that we were going to do whatever we had to do as rapidly as we could, responsibly, so that we could get Minnesota back to work again and end the shutdown. And everything we have done during this time has been with that in mind and that intent. And I think everyone will look at this, including ourselves, and say, well, we didn't have this, we don't have that, we have this we don't want, we have that we don't want. I mean, that's just the essence of the compromise. And we've known that for since the election last November, and with the very different points of view about what's best for the future of Minnesota, and we had to reconcile those, and it just meant by definition that we're not going to be able to, any of us, walk away saying we have everything we want. So I again want to thank Senator Koch and Speaker Zellers for their commitment, their hard work, and the other leaders and the staffs, and as well as my own. And now we'll proceed.
No, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank the governor and his staff for their hard work, as well as members of my caucus, members of the House caucus, all the folks that worked on these bills. It's been now almost 7 months that we've been hammering away on a very difficult budget under very difficult circumstances, and I'm just grateful for all the time and the effort and the good work that was put into these bills, and also very glad to have Minnesota back open.
And I want to thank you, Governor. Thank you, Madam Leader. We've spent a great deal of time working on what we all think is not only the essence of compromise, but some reforms that will put Minnesota back to work and in a way that will change our state for a generation. Working with the governor, and we have worked very closely, very long into the night, many times, to come up with an agreement that I think will not only change the way Minnesota operates, but it will position our state for a great future. We've got a lot of work yet to do. He has some idea about raising taxes. We're not quite on yet. We want to cut a little more spending. We still have some time to convince him on. But this is an agreement that will get Minnesota back to work, and we'll get it back to work as quickly as possible. We are ready to get bills going through session into final passage and to the governor's desk as quickly as we possibly can. Thank you, Governor.
Question. Speaker, how's this going to change the state for a generation?
I think some of the reforms that are in the bills, Don, looking at, one of the things, the provider tax has been something that has been a very regressive tax, and as we go out and look into some of these things, something the governor and Senator Majority Leader and I actually agreed on is that if it's not necessary anymore, why should we collect it? That's something that's a very regressive tax. It's been hard on working families. You look at the reforms in state government. We work with the governor very closely on not just how we collect things, but making sure that there's efficiencies and effectiveness in it. The governor was very clear about that there needs to be some benchmarks in here that when we're asking folks to go out and collect it, there actually is a return on investment. How long did it take you to do? What did you do? And then what did you get in return? That was something we worked very collaboratively on, and actually teamed up on with Amy, our Senate Majority Leader. You can tell we've been together a long time, to make sure that not only the agencies, but the folks that we were tasking with this that would do their job and then come back and report to us.
How quickly do you practice in secret behind closed doors, and you are going to suspend the rules, not have hearings, I presume? Can you tell us why that is? Why the public should not be able to weigh in on these bills?
Well, I would flatly reject that these were done in secret. These are conference committee reports that we've worked on. These things have been up and posted on the internet since early April. Yes, there are some changes in there, some minor changes in some cases, some major changes in others, but the process will be open. The governor very graciously, again, opened up the State Building and the Capitol early this morning. The process will be as it always has. It will be open to the public. It will be, viewers will be able to watch on the internet. You'll be able to look at the bills online. Some of them already been posted for 24 hours. So I reject it. It's a secret process. These are bills that have been up and posted, had committee hearings, have had a full vetting through the legislative process for a very long time.
About that too. I would agree with the speaker. I mean, once we reached the framework of the overall agreement Thursday afternoon, we all said we're going to get this done as swiftly as possible, responsibly, but for the benefit of getting Minnesotans back to work, getting state government operating again. I mean, this building was closed, as was the state office building, because of the court order. That was a decision that was not an emergency facility, and so that was a decision we lived with as part of the environment in which we had to make these decisions. So I think, as the other leaders have noted, our conversations, it certainly did not restrict access either by the press or by a lot of people who were concerned about this legislation, because we've all heard from plenty of them during the last 4 days. And from my experience in 10 other legislative sessions, all from the executive branch, conference committees is where they get together, and a lot of it is just the members themselves discussing. What the speaker said, we started with the conference reports as the framework, and then basically it was more a matter of subtraction and very little addition. So almost everything that's in these bills has been vetted previously in hearings and through the process, and now the public will have just as much time to read the actual finished product as literally any of us. I mean, as soon as we get it, it's going to be posted. So the public will have the same opportunity that members and my staff and others will have.
Will you be inclined to just try to get this over and done with in one fell swoop and work through the night? Or what are your plans on the process?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start and move as quickly. Again, some of these bills have been posted online. Many of you have had a chance to read them. As the public has, we will move as quickly as possible to not only get the bills in front of us, but pass them, and then I'll sign and send it to the President of the Senate, get it to the governor's desk for signature.
There are pending amendments.
You're just going to try to plow through the night and maybe be done by early tomorrow? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, again, as quickly as we possibly can. Members of the House of Representatives are known to commenting on the positives and negatives of bills, so they'll let them do that. But the amendments, we will have no amendments, so that the process will only be as long as our folks need to pontificate. And I would say it's better to get people back to work than to talk about a bill.
At what point does the shutdown actually end, do you hope?
Again, as quickly as possible, as quickly as we can get the bills passed through the bodies and to the governor for signature. We'll work as quickly as possible.
Governor, once the final bill is signed, is that when?
I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but my understanding is that once I sign a bill, for example, on environment, natural resources, DNR and PCA and the like, can technically at that instance begin to operate, because that money's then been legally appropriated. Actually, let me correct that. Secretary Ritchie has to sign it as well, but he came over today to sign the proclamation, so that won't take any time. If all the bills are passed, the spending bills and the tax bill, sign them all when they come through, and at the conclusion of their session, Minnesota will be officially lights on.
Logistically, how long will it take to get workers back on the job? I mean, could it still be Friday or Monday before they're back to work?
No, I think people are ready to come back, and now in anticipation tomorrow. I mean, it may not be everybody. All the computer systems and other things that are shut down may take a while to get up to speed, and there's going to be a backlog that people come back to work and have to work through to get caught up. But everybody's going to be working very hard, and state employees have been, very supportive, but I've heard overwhelmingly, they want to get back to work, and they're looking forward to getting back to work.
Governor, would you tell us some of the emotions going on right now? The three of you, after the weariness of this last 21 days, where you are, is it relief or is it resignation? How do you folks feel about this now?
Well, I'm relieved that we've reached an agreement that's going to mean Minnesotans who are not working or who are adversely affected by the shutdown will no longer be. I know that we've worked very, very hard these last 4 days and nights to reach this agreement, and it meant all of us having to, give up things that we really believed in, that were really important to us for the sake of this agreement, for the sake of getting Minnesota back to work. I'm proud of us for doing that.
Yes. We're confident. The members are reading the bills right now, and that is obviously something that's extremely important to them. So they've had transportation, public safety since yesterday. I believe higher ed just posted up, as well as the environment bill and the legacy bill. So they're going through those right now. We've been caucusing. We've been letting them know kind of summaries of the bills to get them informed and let them ask questions of the chairs. So it's a work in progress. To Pat's question, I think that there is a lot of relief in knowing that Minnesotans are getting back to work. It's a mixed emotion because, as the governor said, we didn't get everything we wanted. We were really excited about the budget that we passed, but there are some very exciting reforms that are in these bills, and we're excited to talk about those. We're excited to let Minnesotans know about those, and we're excited to see the effect that good work is going to have on Minnesota going forward. And then I don't know if I speak for the speaker on this, but we're excited to get back next January and dig back in and start and get the reform discussion going as well. Maybe take a week off. But
Are most of your members here, or are they on their way, or how is that going to work?
We've been caucusing and meeting, and so they've been staying tight. Also, of course, they've been working on bills, pieces of the bills, so they're largely here. I'm not aware of anyone. Well, yeah, no, I think most of them are here. Ready to
Okay, we continue.
I'm sorry, please. How do you feel about the so-called social issues being removed, those reforms that you had?
We've just spent the better part of 4 or 5 days back and forth, in and out, working on I think last night at 10 o'clock we were down to the last $1.28 million in one account. We're ready to be done, get the budget balanced, get a balanced budget out to the citizens, get Minnesota, as the governor said, let's get Minnesota back to work. Let's get them back on the job. That's our number one priority. There will be all kinds of time for you guys to Monday morning quarterback it for us, but our job right now, we've got an agreement, we've got some bills to pass, we've got a few more to print out, get to the public, and then we're going to get them to the governor for signature.
Governor, will you call a special session for the Vikings in the fall? Is that
I haven't decided. It's not ready to be considered at this point, so I have to see if the negotiations proceed to a point where it can be, and what point in the year that is, and how long it would be until the legislature reconvenes in January. I take calling a special session very seriously, and something that I would not do routinely. So it would have to be circumstances that compel it, and again, I don't know whether those will occur or not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.